Ladies and gents, Holy Paladin, you've been asking for it and here it is. The big guided by the light hero. Yes, the plate wearing healer. I'm going to get a little serious on you. A little serious for a moment. Every now and again, beta's a tricky thing. Beta's a tricky thing. It's a reason beta exists. Because Blizzard sits down and they work out how a class should be played, and then they kind of balance spells around it. That's how it works. They figure out what a character or a class or a role, in this case as a healer, needs to output in a raid environment, and then they work the spells around it. And then they give it to the players. They pass it out and say, this is what we're thinking this class should work like. Go ahead and see what you can come up with. And then every now and again, it happens a little bit rarely, but it does happen, players come up with a way of playing a class that is absolutely not intended and is in fact just complete garbage, but it is the best way to play it. So the play you're going to see in the background is not the way the Holy Paladin is currently being played in the beta. And one of those reasons is the way it currently is being played is, simply put, awful. Awful, awful, awful. And it's a tricky, tricky spot. It really is a tricky spot. The reason is, if you were to look at, say, a healing meter, and many of you might have done that, is to watch a stream and see what the healing output is of the Holy Paladin, because you're concerned that other healers are being left behind. We've said that certain healers are feeling quite weak. How is the Holy Paladin doing? If you were to look at a healing meter, you might go, oh, Holy Paladins are fine, man. They're way up there. I see them either topping meters or in the 1 or 2 spot, and every time I see a Holy Paladin in a raid, they're doing really, really well. And I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. What you might not be happy with is how that is being achieved. And now I'll explain it to you now. What is the culprit? What is the problem here? What's causing this issue? Mainly the level 100 talent. And I say talent, not talents, because there's an extra beacon in there. It's called Beacon of Faith, and if you've ever played a Holy Paladin on live, you'll be fully aware of how much of your healing comes from Beacon of Light. So Blizzard saw fit to give the Paladins a level 100 talent, which gave them an extra beacon. So you can beacon 2 targets at once, they work the same, do the same business, and your heals elsewhere are going to duplicate onto both of those targets at the same time. Now that sounds awesome, doesn't it? And it is. In principle, it's brilliant. The problem is, it creates a big, big overbalance of how Beacon works, yeah? It really tips the fucking scales in how Beacon works, and it's creating a lot of false readings in terms of how powerful a Paladin is. They are certainly putting out that amount of healing, but it has to be balanced around the idea that most Paladins are going to be pigeonholed into having 2 beacons. The other level 100 talents are not worth talking about. They're useless in a raiding environment. Some of them are specifically PvP orientated. You're going to be taking Beacon of Faith as it stands right now. So, what else is a problem? Our AoE as a Holy Paladin ain't worth shit. It's far too expensive and does far too little. Holy Radiance and Light of Dawn might as well just be removed from the fucking game. They're crap. Absolute crap. And you'll see in the background, you'll see things like on the main target, Holy Radiance is like 10k on people with 200k HP, and then the Radiance effect is in like the hundreds or a couple of k. It's pointless. It's absolutely useless. Total waste of time. I'm using it as a combo point generator, and plus I'm in a dungeon and healing is slightly different, if not very different, in a dungeon environment compared to a raid environment where other healers are taking care of other jobs. Okay? With me so far? Cool. So now we have this scenario where you essentially have Flash of Light, Holy Light, and Holy Shock, and unfortunately, yes, Eternal Flame. The only one worth having, because it's so much more powerful. So what is the issue again? Why is the level 100 talent causing all these problems? Because we don't generate enough holy power from Holy Shock to really get a nice steady flow of Eternal Flames going. So, what have people discovered? That what people are doing, and I shit you not, this is what people are doing, are macroing different heals to also cast Beacon on the target they are healing. And they're doing this because that will get them more holy power. If you cast a Holy Light or a Flash of Light on a beacon target, you gain a holy power from it. So people are now macroing in their beacons on the targets they want to heal. They're macroing a Beacon of Faith, they're slowing down their own healing, just to make sure they're using efficient spells. Holy Radiance costs too much mana in a raid environment. We've seen fights that have gone upwards of 8 or 15 minutes, currently on the beta. Now, of course, sometimes the health is overtuned, so they can see what players are doing. How long can a healer go? And this is what people have come up with is, you know what, Holy Radiance ain't worth shit. It's not even worth using, because it's too expensive to generate a holy power. It's too fucking expensive, dude. I'm not going to do it. What I prefer to do, as stupid as it sounds, is macro in my beacons onto the people I heal, use Holy Light and Flash of Light on them, generate the Holy Power that way, and just spam Eternal Flame endlessly. And all this healing is being duplicated back onto beacon targets and all sorts of crazy shit. And that's what's creating this huge gap with the amount of healing that they're actually doing. But the playstyle is awful. I tried it for about 10 minutes. I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. This is one of those playstyles that people come up with, and I'm just like, I'd rather leave the class alone. It doesn't feel intended, and it's causing balancing issues, I think, because Holy Paladins are, of course, putting out enough healing to be on par with the top healers in the game right now. So, what we could say is, that is how it stands right now, guys. That's how the Holy Paladin is working right now. Hopefully, it'll be rebalanced, retuned. Certainly, something needs to happen. Our AoE healing certainly needs looking at because it's absolute garbage. It's no point, really, in casting AoE heals. Light of Dawn is a total waste of time. Holy Radiance does nothing. Essentially, you're using it to generate Holy Power to cast Eternal Flame. That's all I'm using it for right there. On the other side of things, one might look at this and say, you know what? I'm kind of okay with this. Because I now fall back into a niche that I think existed around Wrath of the Lich King time and certainly pre-existing to that, which is that Holy Paladins were the essential tank healers. Those were the guys. What we've seen is some healers fall back into niches. Resto Druids have become the gods of movement and, of course, very, very sustainable in AoE environments. Very cool at doing that. Mistweavers seem to have fallen into this gap as if everybody's crowded up, then they can do absolutely insane amounts of healing. The only time they seem to be worth bringing. And Holy Paladins seem very much pushed towards, especially... Beacon is obviously intended. Okay, let's say all the stuff we just talked about was totally unintended. Beacon is obviously intended to put on 2 tanks, as most fights, if not all of them right now, are 2-tank fights, and therefore allow them to heal other members of the raid while being these really sturdy, solid tank healers, and an essential part of any raid. And it's nice to see that the yes healers are being put back into a niche a little bit, because we got so homogenized with healers, where everybody was like, well, where's my AoE heal? Where's my big single target heal? Where's my efficient single target heal? Where's my big AoE heal? Where's my small AoE heal? All this kind of stuff. And so we got very, very homogenized, especially in Kata and Mr. Pandaria, where healers were able to fit many, many roles on demand. So on that side of things, I actually don't mind. I really don't. I don't mind healers having a bit of a niche. It was what I personally enjoyed about being a healer. Gameplay-wise, though, guys, I've got to say, it's pretty fucking dire out there. I also played a Holy Priest today. After a little bit of teething problems of settling into playing a class I haven't played for quite a while, I've got to say, it was so much better. A multitude of heals that all work in slightly different ways. Instead of it being like on a Holy Paladin right now, which is fast, expensive single target heal, slower single target heal, and single target heal with a bit of a hot. Right? That's the way it plays right now. If I look at Holy Priest, I've got Paramedic, which works in a different way. It also coincides with my talents, so I can get instant casts of those. I've got Flash of Light working with that. I've also got Renew working with that. I've got Holy Words powered on top of that. I've then got Circle of Healing mixed in there, but I've got Prayer of Healing should I need it. But I've got to change Chakra to use that to get really the best out of it. Look at all the different things I'm doing with a Holy Priest, and then look at a Holy Paladin and then think to yourself, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Why is it so far away? Why is it not closer? Why don't we have Holy Radiance working in a different way to Light of Dawn? Why are they not like, what Holy Radiance is a little bit weaker, yeah, but it's worth casting if you're in an AoE environment, and not in a situation now where it's like, this spell is not worth a goddamn anything. It's not worth a piss. It's fucking useless. Light of Dawn is so fucking bad, I would never consider casting that spell. Never consider it. Whereas if I look at other spells, I'm thinking, I would like these spells to do something slightly different. Instead of just being, it's an AoE heal, perhaps it does something a little bit different. We're Paladins, we're a spectacular class. We're born of being cool. We are born of cool. Let's have something like that thrown in there. I don't want to disparage the class, but it's walking a fine line. Because the output is there right now. And if the output is there, Blizzard might be tempted just to say, you know what, fuck it. Holy Paladins are putting out what they need to do. They're consistently, nicely doing well in raids, so we don't need to do much with them. I say no to that. Fucking no. Because the way it's being done is awful. Really bad, and you're turning people away from this class. They should just have... how can a class with something as cool as Execution Sentence and Light's Hammer be so fundamentally dull and broken in its essential, where only 5 of the regular heals it has to cast, 2 of them are pointless? How can that be? I ask you that question, guys. I ask you that question. There you go. Holy Paladin! Get excited. Bye.